Hello and welcome to the Dr. Celia Corbo Show. I am your host, Dr. Celia Corbo, a functional health practitioner, licensed chiropractor, and entrepreneur. On our show, we feature and showcase wonderful entrepreneurs and learn about their stories to success. Today, I have Lisa Schick. Lisa Schick is an integrative health practitioner that began her health and wellness career as a live blood analyst, looking at the health of people's blood under a microscope in real time. Lisa was seeing such a huge imbalance in people's blood and health that it led her to study and learn how to run and analyze functional lab testing. Looking at different lab tests allows Lisa to see the full picture of what is going on with someone's health. She offers health coaching and works one-on-one with clients, taking them through her program and creating customized protocols, giving the body the tools to return to a state of balance. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the Dr. Celia Corbo Show. How are you?
Hi, Celia. Thank you for inviting me. I am wonderful and very excited to have a conversation today.
I honestly just want to let our viewers know that this is our third time attempting this conversation. We've had some technological barriers blocking our full recording, but I'm actually so happy that we finally found a way and I get to share you with all of my viewers because you are amazing.
You're too kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself. You have a lot going on. You're in the health and wellness space. You were also in the travel space before. You're a mom. So tell us a little bit about Lisa.
Oh, that's a long story, but yeah. Yes. So Lisa, yes. So I have had many, many adventures in my life, and each one has brought me to where I am now. And sometimes I want to say, oh, I have to start over again, or I'm doing this, or I'm, changing this. But honestly, every single thing I have done has led me to the next adventure, and has let me grow as a person. And, back when I was, ready to go to school and university, like all other kids going, I don't know what I want to do, right? Like there was no guidance or anything like that. And to help us what we wanted to do, I had no role model. And so I just wanted to travel the world. I was just like, I've never been anywhere. We didn't travel when I was a kid. So I was like, well, I'll go in the travel industry and I get to travel. So that's what I did for many, many years. I won't say how many, but many, 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 many years. And not just as one thing, as many different things, from like working on a cruise ship to working for the airlines to working as an independent travel agent, customizing luxury travel vacations for people and wellness travel, and creating, doing events and conferences and stuff for different industries. And, all of it, I loved it. But all throughout my travel career, I was so passionate about health and wellness. I always have been. I've always been into alternative health. Everything I do is mostly in the alternative health field. And so it was just a natural progression when COVID hit and I lost my travel business as, the world shut down. My husband and I were both in the travel industry. And funny enough, in 2019, we met because of, working in the same, through the same travel company. And we said in 2019, maybe is it the best idea that we're both in the same industry? And we're like, nah, what can happen to the travel, industry? And poof,
For real.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a big shock, a big shock came to us. And I could have just retreated and curled up into a ball and cried and, grieved, which, of course I grieved the loss of the travel industry at the time for quite a while. But honestly, I was excited that this gave me the opportunity to pursue something that I really, really wanted to do. So I took it as a sign that I was meant to curve. And that's what I did. I went head first and took the time and really studied. And it was a lot because I didn't come from a health and wellness background, or, just having to restudy anatomy, I didn't learn that. Like I didn't pay
It
attention
can
to
be a
any of that.
lot. Yeah.
And it's still a journey. It's not something
Yeah.
you just learn once, because everything is ongoing, our journey and learning, right? And new studies come out and different things. Like just there's so much to learn, and I want to know it all now and I can't. So my openness of my brain to learn everything is, which is very exciting. So yeah, so I started to get into live blood analysis, which was a huge eye opener for me, because I had no idea we could look at our blood like this. Again, in the alternative field, it should be mainstream, but unfortunately it's not. And seeing, the health of your blood and all these different things again led me on another journey to want to know more testing and understanding the body. So that's, and at the same time, having my daughter at 42 years old, right? I was one of those, I'm not going to have kids in my 40s, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, the universe had a different plan for
I was
me.
just going to say the universe had his own plan for you. And it's beautiful that you were still able to have a kid in your 40s and she's healthy and beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was a blessing, but it was a huge upside down to my life, right? I was self-employed travel agent at the time, right? Traveling the world. And then all of a sudden, I had my daughter. I moved to the suburbs, right? I inherited some stepchildren.
Wow, you went full mom very quick.
Full mom, driving a minivan. Yeah, the whole shebang, which was a massive shock for me and a really big adjustment. And it took, quite a long time to get, adjusted to it. But at the same time, I was so in love with my brand new baby, but I hadn't planned for it. So, when you're self-employed and you don't prepare yourself for maternity leave and having, unemployment, EI and benefits to cover you, I didn't get to take mat leave. I had to work the whole time, right? So I was very grateful that I was able to do what I did. I mean, I was answering calls on my computer while my daughter was in the swing, right? Not all day, but I definitely had to do it. And I was just so grateful for the time I was able to spend with her. So yeah, so here I am. I'm like ready on this amazing new adventure, working with clients and talking health and wellness, and just right up my avenue right now. And just I'm in love with what I'm doing right now.
You really have such a passion in your voice when you're talking about your whole entire journey. You can definitely tell that nothing set you back. It just propelled you forward. Even those moments where you felt like it was a setback with the whole pandemic and travel being pretty much closed for the entire world, it still launched you forward. You still had a really open mindset. And I think that that's so beautiful because so many people like to stay within their comfort zones. And you're just like, well, I'm going to use this as an opportunity. And that is amazing. And I wish there were more people in the world like that because it's really inspirational.
Well, thank you, Celia.
Yeah.
I just go ahead, go ahead.
No. Keep going, keep going.
No, I was just going to say, I've always lived my life outside the box, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, my husband, I'll say to my husband, oh, let's do this, or, I'm going to try this. And he's just, he just shakes his head. And then I'm like, remember, you married me because I like to live outside the box.
I'm still that same person. Yeah, that's amazing. But what I want to dive into before we go into all of the health and wellness that you're doing at the moment, I have yet to talk about this on my podcast, and that is mom-preneurship. Because I'm also entering that phase of my life where I want to become a mom, but I'm having this huge tug of war between, oh my gosh, will I be able to take care of my child and hopefully one day multiple children? And how will my business do? Because I'm no longer putting all of my efforts into that. And I know everyone's mom journey is a little bit different, but I want to hear about your mom journey and how you were able to juggle and adjust to that very sudden transition of being a mom, being a business owner, and still trying to be Lisa.
Well, I'm still figuring it out, but yeah. If I knew what I know now, what I knew then, what I know now, being a mompreneur, I wish I could go back and give myself more advice and be more easy on myself, because we're so hard on ourselves and we're so excited. We think the pregnancy and all this is the hardest part of the journey, but it's not. Like, that's probably the easiest part, you know? I mean, the birth, yes, I was petrified of the birth, but guess what? My birth plan out the window. I had to have an emergency C-section, which I was
Wow.
so against having a C-section, and then that happened. So we have to just, like life, we have to be able to adapt and go with things. But when you're dealing with another little human, it's, you take a step back, right? As a woman, as a mom, as a wife, or whatever your situation might be, you have to learn to step back. And your business, that's been your biggest priority for so long, but it's still there. So it's all about trying to figure out, creating a schedule is probably the most important. Now, when you have a newborn, it was definitely a little bit more challenging. I did take a little bit of a step back, absolutely, because I wanted to,
Mhm.
make sure I was here, but I was also planning my wedding because we didn't want to get married I'm like, nope, I'm 42. I'm wearing the big white dress. I'm going
Yeah.
to be a princess for a day. And I was running my business, having a newborn, and planning my wedding.
Oh my God. I just
Yeah.
planned a wedding and I am so happy that that's done because that was stressful, but it was fun. But oh, I can't imagine doing all three at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But when you're an entrepreneur, we have certain skills, right? To be
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, you need skills to be able to pivot, do multiple things. Because you're the IT person, you're everything at the beginning until you're able to have a team. And so are just able to juggle a lot more and have a different mindset when you view everything a little bit differently than I'm just going to work and I'm going to come home. No, this is okay. What do I need to do to be successful? What do I need to do to be a good mom? So
Mhm.
putting so much pressure on myself to be a good mom, like that's just like, there's so many memes out there that are like, this is the mom that I thought I was going to be, like this, like 1950s,
Yeah.
holding your children to like, like screaming at them and like going in a corner and crying. Like that's real, right? And you have to go into this with like real expectations that this is going to turn your life upside down no matter what. I don't care
Yeah.
how prepared you are, but the experience of it is so much fun. And the whole newborn and the baby phase just is so fast, right? And it was amazing. So, for the first while, I was able to kind of juggle things because, they sleep a lot and, it was nurse, sleep, walk, and
Yeah.
all this, and then work a little bit. The swing was my best friend. She would sleep. I'd be on my computer, trying to, if I got a phone call, I'm like, hi, and I'm like,
Yeah.
please don't wake up. Please don't wake up while I'm on
Yeah.
the phone, right? Sitting at my dining room table. But honestly, I wouldn't change it for the world. But then it came to the point where I did need to work a bit more. So I hired a nanny. And I
Yeah.
had a nanny. I was grateful. I had the most amazing nanny 2 doors down. I found it was like, thank you, universe, sent me this amazing nanny. And that gave me the opportunity to be home, to continue nursing, to be there for her and have all the help in the house. So that's what I did to really help. And, and then I was able to continue working, but also be present. So, and
Mhm.
it's going to continue to evolve just like your business. And as they get older, right, things change. Now I'm able to do a lot more. And so I was able to take on a lot more and but I'll be honest, even if you have more time, I don't want to work more. Like, who
Yeah.
wants to work more, right?
Yes,
So
I agree.
it's all about finding how you can work less, working harder, not smarter, or working smarter, not harder. Sorry. And when I read the book, The 4 Hour Work Week, like that was such an inspiration. And I'm like, why not? Why do we
Yeah.
need to work 80 hours or 40 hours a week as entrepreneurs? So that's been my biggest goal, is creating a schedule and a budget on, okay, what is it I need to make for this month? What do I need to make to survive, and what do I need to make to be where I want to be, and then what do I need to make to have my dream life, right?
Yeah.
And then working backwards on, okay, so how many hours? Because honestly, I'm not willing to give up being there to pick up my daughter from school, to be there, maybe not every day at drop off. My husband and I would share, but I chose to put my daughter in a really beautiful school that was a 40 minute drive.
Mhm.
So each way.
Yeah.
So we make we make these sacrifices for our
Yeah.
children, but at the same time, we don't want to lose who we are as a woman and as a mom, right? And
Yeah.
I still actually kept traveling for the first few years. I was able to get my mom to come down, plus my nanny and my husband, and I would still be able to do my trips and stuff like that, which was such a huge part for me because to lose that and
Mhm.
would have been devastating for me. And my husband was so supportive because he knew that's who I was. And so
Yeah.
I still did these trips and stuff, which was wonderful. And now I'm at a different place in my life where I just want to like go to a cottage and have quiet. I just want quiet.
Yes, I know, me too, and I think it's just because, again, the way that the female brain is designed, it's always active, you could say, like the brain talks to itself for controlling the body, but it also talks within itself. And the female brain goes nuts compared to the male brain, which is just very like, I'm thinking about nothing right now. And literally they are. We are not capable of doing that. And so finding that quiet spot, even though our brain won't necessarily be quiet, we can just kind of calm things down, reprocess. Because, yeah, being a mom, being a business owner, being a lot of things at once, it can be very taxing.
It's very taxing. And
Yeah.
that's why you have to find something for yourself. Like people
Yeah.
who don't take the time to re energize themselves, it really is detrimental to your health and to your, your wellness and everything, your energy. We
Yeah.
want to be patient for our children, which is very challenging, right? And if we are taxed in our business and everything else in life, we're going to take that out on our kids, right?
Mhm.
Because they're just, or your spouse, or it's just natural. And people are so stressed. Like that's the number one thing that I see in clients is the stress level. And always the comeback is, well, I have kids. I can't avoid stress. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're never going to avoid it, but how are you managing it?
exactly.
And it doesn't mean go to a retreat for a week, though we would all love to do that.
Yeah.
Just some self-care. If you can't afford the spa or go, whatever makes you excited, just go for a hike. For me, I love going to the forest, going for hikes, sitting down by the river, just being in peace and quiet. That just rejuvenates me because when I come home, I'm just like, okay, I've had that little break, or going out with my other friends, especially, mom friends. We have different friends at different phases of our life. And right now I have such beautiful community and some amazing friends that we understand and we need each other to just, go out for a dinner just without the kids. As much as we love doing play dates and all that stuff, because that's our social time, right? Is the kids play, we chat, right? And having that just adult time to talk about adult things. So we end up talking about the kids, but we definitely do talk about adult stuff. So
Yeah.
it's crucial to find those moments.
Absolutely. And again, like women, the way that we regulate our brain is through verbal, through talking, hanging out with the girlfriends. So I think that's really important that you're doing that as well as other people, other women who are in business, and having that mom group. I find when you become a mom, it's almost like you enter this whole new clique, this new group. And it's really beautiful because you are all going through something that people might not necessarily understand because it's such a huge change because you're needed 100% of the time. And it's, again, it can be very, very difficult, but at least there's that support network there within the community of moms to help each other through. But you mentioned something that I want to touch on, and it was the stress component. And I know you're into the live blood analysis and functional health. And I want to ask if you can see stress beyond the subjective of a person. So just when they're telling you, oh, I'm so stressed, I can't handle my life. Can you even see it within the body?
For sure. I don't even have to ask them if they're stressed.
Wow.
I just look at their blood. As much as I ask for a little bit of information from people, but I really don't want to know too much information right away. I want to look at their blood and build their story of what's going on, and
Hmm.
then when I talk about things that I see in the blood, then they can explain where it's coming from so that we can address those issues. And the biggest thing I see is the lack of electrical charge in the body, right? Because
Wow.
stress literally changes your complete physique. It affects your gut, it affects your brain, your neurotransmitters. It can cause leaky gut. Everything is connected in the body, and stress is the biggest one because that affects the brain, which, as we know, is the master control of the body. And then that affects everything else, right? The way you're digesting, the way people are constantly in fight or flight mode, right? Why can't I lose weight? Well, because you're constantly in fight or flight mode and your body is not able to heal, right? We
Yeah.
need to focus on calming the nervous system down. But looking at live blood analysis, I can see the cells. So when you first pull it up, you want to see the cells all like beautifully separated and moving and bouncing off of each other and flowing nicely. You want the plasma, which is the river that carries your blood. It's 90% water, and you want it this beautiful flow. And that's rarely what I see, right? I see things all like stuck together, right?
Yeah.
The cells are all like stuck together. They're not bouncing off of each other. And there's all kinds of stuff happening in the plasma, right? There's fibrin, which is, can come from liver stress, and that causes, like webbing inside the blood, which catches all, the red blood cells. And then you see the immune system, the white blood cells, right? That's another important factor. So yes, we look at red blood cells, and there's many things that we look at, but
Mhm.
also the white blood cells. How is your immune doing? What type of white blood cells are we seeing? Are we seeing the basophils that are shooting out histamines? Are we seeing eosinophils, which is usually linked to parasite infections? And
Mhm.
is your immune even working? Because many times I see people and their immune is just completely broken, not moving, right? And so
Wow.
you have to figure out, and stress is usually the main cause. Now, it's never one thing, it's always a variety of things, but stress is the biggest driving factor because then that affects other things in your life, right?
Yeah.
Time, stress, anxiety, whatever, all this stuff, right? And then our
Yeah.
bodies get all tense, and the blood reflects that, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. But at the same time, it can also be easily fixed, and it's just, you need to know. And it's so funny, yesterday, a woman was saying, oh, they were talking about, I did a post, and people were talking about live blood, and one woman was like, I don't want to know. And I'm like, but you need to know. If
Yeah.
you hide from it, right, how are you going to fix it? Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is a little bit of an issue with our society these days. It's very much this system of if I don't feel bad, I'm fine. I hate that word so much. I hate the word fine. Like I loathe it because, it's one thing to feel nothing, which is non-symptomatic. And then it's another thing to be preventative and to make sure
Mhm.
that that never even happens to the body. And I know when you did my live blood analysis, it wasn't after the best weekend of my life, I'll admit to that, but I consider myself a pretty healthy person. And that was a huge, huge reality check for me. And I'm like, oh my God, like I do take care of myself to a certain degree. We're human,
Mhm.
we can make some mistakes here and there, but I wasn't expecting to see as much as we saw in my blood analysis. And I was like, okay, wow, I need to pick it up a notch. And I need to make sure that my body doesn't get into a state of dis-ease eventually in my life, because that's kind of what we're all on track for if we just don't take care of our bodies.
Oh, it's so huge. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I want people to come in for preventative. I
Yeah.
want to say to people,
Yeah.
your blood is boring, which is the biggest compliment for
You are
me.
so healthy, you're boring. I love that.
Right? Because I find really interesting things in the blood, right? And for me, it's like, ooh, that's cool, right? And
Yeah.
then, I don't say that in front of the people because then that would freak them out, right? But
Yes.
you know, to see to see beautiful blood is actually quite rare, which is
Yes.
really, really sad. I
That
should be
is really
seeing that.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah. I see
And
that in follow-ups. I see
okay.
people when they come in and they do the work. So
Yeah.
you can't lie to me. Your blood doesn't lie. I mean, there's a book, Your
Yeah.
Blood Doesn't Lie, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't lie. So when people go and they do the work, and it may not be the first time, it may be a few times, it all depends. But if you deal with it right away, before it gets to the point where you have to do so much more work, tweaking things so much easier than doing
Yes.
full on, full body revamping.
Absolutely. And again, people don't have that idea or that understanding that once you start to feel something, like let's say pain, for example, like, oh, my stomach hurts or oh, my shoulder hurts or whatever, it's usually the last thing that you feel because there has been so much change in the body over a period of time. And what I always tell my clients and my patients is pain is the last thing to happen, but then it's the first thing to go away. So pain is tricky and it's just that signal within the body. But it's so easy to leave, but that doesn't mean the work is done. It just means that you have to keep going, and consistency is really that key. So I'm happy that you're seeing these changes in clients when they're coming for their second round or third round of blood work, because it is possible to reverse the body back to healing. It just takes time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just it, and sometimes it's not complicated, it's us that, it's the human
Yes.
brain that makes it complicated. We think we have to do all these things. And I really try to focus on simple, simple fixes.
Yeah.
But some people, it's habit. Habit is the hardest to break.
Yeah.
And if you can work on one habit at a time, right? And plus supporting the body with the proper supplements, the proper nutrition, and I cannot get over how many people are not even taking basic stuff or even understand, what the basics are in terms of foundation for supplements and minerals. And minerals is the number one thing. Our body, our enzymes function on all these minerals. And and guess what depletes them? Stress,
Yeah.
right? It depletes magnesium. Why are we such a deficient population of magnesium? And our food is deficient, we all know that. And now we can't just get it from food anymore. It's important to make sure we get good food. That's a huge component, but we still have to support the bodies and making sure that they function properly. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm reading a book right now by Michael Singer. I was just looking around for it, but it's in the other room. It's called The Untethered Soul, and it's on our book list, actually. So, for those of you who are not really catching on, both Lisa and I are functional health practitioners from the same amazing woman, Sandy, through the Integrative Healing Academy. And we have a book list that we read, and there's like 80 something books on there. It's incredible how many there are. But I'm reading the one by Michael Singer, highly recommended. I don't know if you read it yet, Lisa, or not, but
Not yet.
he actually talks about burnout and stress and how they're blocks in our energy. And if we're not letting the energy flow, and if we're not staying in the consciousness or the now moment, that's when we see a lot of these, oh, I'm burnt out, I'm stressed out. And then we see all of these physiological changes too with the blood, I'm sure, right? Because everything has a cascade effect. So you saying all these things just made me realize, oh, that's in the book.
All right, that's my next one then.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. It's a great book.
And it's so, I really tried to focus on, I think we need billboards everywhere saying, go back to the basics. Like we've completely lost touch with the foundation of being humans, right? Of how our bodies function. We think we're these unstoppable machines that can work 100-hour work weeks and be a mom and do everything else. Like the pressure on moms alone, and men too, there's a lot of pressure on men as well. But there's a relationship for a reason. There's a relationship of the family that has to work together, and no one is better than the other, and no one's less because you're raising children. Like, I'm sorry, but some days I'm like, you stay home with the kids. I'll go to work because that's easier, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. You need a good partnership. And again, like the male and female brain are so different, but we're meant to be together for a reason. We're meant to have partnerships and have that human connection for a reason. And it's really to support each other. No matter what sex your partner is, there needs to be that support, right?
And
Yeah.
if you're a single mom, you
You have
need
to
to
have
have a support system,
Yeah.
right? Of
Yeah.
other moms. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, like kind of going back to that whole mompreneur thing, if I didn't have my mom friends, I don't know what I would have done. I think
Sure.
I would have struggled so much, but having that support system in the mom world and also in the business world, joining networking group, like business networking groups. That way I can go and talk business with like-minded people, right? You need different communities for different things. And, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but you pick the ones that really resonate with you. And that way you can kind of get that foundation and bounce things off, because being solo and being by ourselves is not how the human physiology was
No.
created. We're
Yeah.
meant to be together, right? It's like going to the gym. My husband lovingly bought me a Peloton for my 50th birthday, and I was so excited. And then I'm like, it's not as much fun as I thought, right? Because I was going to these spinning classes. I had the best instructor and best class. And when I go to the gym, I feed off other people's energy, right?
Yes.
And when you're by yourself, it's really hard, And being an entrepreneur and being by yourself all day is it's not very much fun, right? So you need to
Yes.
have the energy. That's like our blood cells, right?
Yeah.
When I see people and their cells aren't moving, they've lost their charge, because
Yes.
cells have an electrical charge. We're electrical beings.
Yeah.
So the whole mind, body, spirit, and we have to heal, not just physically. We have to heal mentally, emotionally. There's so many layers to it, and people have no idea where to start.
Yeah, I think there's so much information on social media that's clickbait, and really being healthy does not have to be expensive. It gets expensive when you let your body go into like this huge spiral of not listening to it and things are going haywire. But it could be really as easy as just going for a 20-minute walk each day, eating healthy, whole, nutrient dense foods. Like managing your stress, breathwork, meditation. Like we know how to do all of these things, but what's something that you're seeing in your clients that maybe puts up that roadblock where they have access to these free tools, yet their mind limits them?
Oh, I see it all the time. And I think the biggest thing is it's the stress, it's the overwhelm. I think
Yeah.
people are so overwhelmed with so much right now that the simple things feel like another mountain to climb,
Yeah.
right? And so it's all about, okay, let's start small. Let's add this thing in. So yes, clients will go away with a list of things. I'll say, okay, let's do this. Now don't do it all at once, even with supplements, right? We don't take all these supplements all at once. We go one by one by one. And
Yeah.
that's the same thing. So, I like to focus on cleaning the detox pathways, getting things cleared out, because like you were saying on social media, oh, do this heavy metal detox. Oh, do this parasite cleanse. That can actually do more damage because you don't know what your body's doing.
Yeah.
It's like trying to put something in a funnel and that funnel's blocked. It's just going to overflow back into the body and cause more
Yeah.
problems. So let's go back. Let's get our lymphatic system. Why is nobody talking about our lymphatic system? It is so important, right? And I see it in the blood that people are just so blocked up. And that's because lack of movement, right? People are not exercising. People are stressed. So what do? They crawl up on the couch and watch Netflix to calm themselves down, right? Instead of finding exercise. So it's slowly tweaking the mindset and just literally baby steps and
Yeah.
adding in little things to create new habits. And when you have a coach, I consider myself a health coach, having somebody work with you step by step, I need my own coach, sometimes like I need support system. We
Of
all
course.
need,
Yeah. Yeah.
because sometimes it gets overwhelming for us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing right now is people are so overwhelmed, and we need to
Absolutely.
take a step back again.
Yeah, I really like that you mentioned that even you have your own coach and you even need help. And you even pointed me in the direction of some people that I've actually sought help from with as well. And they're just amazing. But it's so true. You can't give your energy. You have to also refuel yours. And I think that's kind of lost on some people, especially entrepreneurs, that you need your own guidance as well. Like you're not at the top of that pyramid. You are not like the end all be all only person going through this. And just as much as you're giving to your clients, you also need to give to yourself. And our clients also need to understand that too. Like you're not human, and we are all doing something that will enhance our journey, enhance our life. And we just all have to go through it like the way that we need to in order to process.
Oh, I always say to people, I need a team. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
just one coach.
Yeah.
I need a team of people, right?
Yeah.
Like, I need my chiro, I need my acupuncture, I need my energy healer, right? Like,
Yeah.
I need my massage, I need this, right? And because that's what fuels me. Do I do it every day? No, but I have a routine of people that I trust and that
Yeah.
really can help balance it, because I have a hard time with my nervous system calming it down, like something like going to the the harmonic egg, for example, like this egg, that's sound and light therapy. It's a vibration, and you don't have to go to a harmonic egg, but it's like a sound and light. Like, it's simple things that we can do,
Yeah.
things that can calm the nervous system down, because we need to calm down, we need to move the body, right? But having a team of people around you, and of course everybody's going to have different budgets, so it doesn't have to be expensive, but you need to have even free resources. You can join
Yeah.
a running group, you can join like on meetups. There's so many free groups out there
Yeah.
that you can join, and that motivates you because it gives you accountability,
Yeah.
but having a health coach for everyone, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know what to cook today. And then I go to my group, oh, yeah, oh, this is a cool recipe, right?
Yeah.
And then we do check in Fridays, right? And even when I do like a check in Friday with clients, I do it for myself,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
I need my accountability. I'm going to get on that scale. I'm going to check my health, because and that was a big challenge for me personally, having such a massive change in my life in the last few years, and getting to that over the 50 mark, right? And then I felt like, well, how could I be a health coach, and how could I help people lose weight and balance hormones when I'm going through perimenopause, when
Yeah.
I have my own healing journey? And then I realized, like, when I look at people, I want somebody real. I don't want
Yeah.
somebody who has all these the most perfect body, and does like probably doesn't have, may have children, may not, but works out 20 hours a day, right? Like, I don't have that. I
Yeah.
want real. I want
Yeah.
real life. I don't need fake. I can go to Netflix for fake, right? I I need a person that understands what I'm going through as a mom, as a woman, as an entrepreneur, to be able to help and guide me. And
Yeah.
so, exactly, working together, getting these free resources. And if you can afford a health coach, even better if you can, because spending money now, when you're younger, and going through all these function lab testing, and actually understanding what your body's doing, and then knowing, getting really really in tune with how your body is working and feeling,
Mm-hmm.
then as you're getting older, you can go back and do, okay, I'm going to run this lab, okay,
Yeah.
I'm kind of, and knowing, okay, my body's saying this. Like, it's amazing how you know your body so well. And when you become in tune with it, right, when you have clarity and your emotions are, because we're all going to go out of balance, like, at this
For
is
sure.
life, right?
For sure.
But when you're in tune with it and you get yourself to the point of a better balance, as you're going through life, you'll know your body. And
Yeah.
having somebody guide you, especially through like a big portion of it to just get you back to balance, then you can go on your own, and you only have to come back when you need it, right? So
Yeah.
spending a little bit now is so much better than dealing with dementia and trying to reverse things that are very difficult to reverse.
Absolutely. I say that to all of my clients, all of my patients. You know your body best. I'm just here guiding you, but it is a 50-50 effort. Like I'm going to do my share to make sure I'm guiding you properly and based off of what you need, but I also need you to show up. I need you to want this. I need you to want to be on this journey with me so we can get you to that better quality of life. And now I want to dive into a little bit more about the functional health aspect, because you and I, we both do the same thing from a very objective point of view. But when it comes to practitioners, I think we're similar, but we also couldn't be more different in the way that we work with our clients and what kind of clients we work with. I think that's also another really huge thing for clients and patients to understand that every practitioner is different. Although we do the same, it's never going to be exactly the same. So, how do you work with your clients? Can you tell us a little bit more about your functional health practice and what you do to guide people to having that better quality of life?
So when it comes to the functional health, what I've done is I created a program. And what I've done in the program itself is for in-person clients, I always start with the live blood. So that's something I can offer
Amazing.
to my clients because it gives people a starting point of a visual. People are very
Yes.
visual. So they
Yes.
can come if they're local, right? We can do their live blood. And then we start with the lab. So we run our foundation labs, we run the organic acids test, we do regular blood work because I'm still a big proponent of blood work, right? Because
Mhm.
I can't see levels. Like I can't sit there and count your cells, right, in live blood,
You'll be there for a while. It's amazing to
right?
see how many cells come out of one tiny drop of blood. It is incredible to see.
Yeah.
It's wow, yeah.
Millions, like at least,
Millions.
a million to 2 million and a drop of blood, right?
That is
So
wild. Yeah.
I'm not counting that, right? So I have certain blood markers that we deal with, right? And then we run a genetics test. So we
Mhm.
do a foundation and we start with that, right? Then we kind of start putting the pieces of the puzzle together and then we look at it. And then at the same time, we start working on some mindset, the little baby steps of trying to calm the body down.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we start to look at nutrition, right? I get my clients to do a food journal and
Mhm.
then we go over that and we tweak things. Is it going to happen overnight? No, it's a journey. But I also have another program that I can invite. I have a metabolic balance food program that I offer to my clients because some people, like me, I get overwhelmed when it comes to cooking. Like I am one of those people that have to follow a recipe because I cannot be creative and then I get stressed. I'm like, I don't know what to buy. What am I going to eat? Like, I just, for some reason, food overwhelms me. I love good food and I want to eat good food. So when I found this metabolic balance program that came from Germany, it's doctors that take your blood work and they create a meal plan based on your health.
Wow. Oh my God, that's amazing.
It is amazing. And just
That's
doing it for
cool.
myself was game changer. So it was like,
Yeah.
just tell me what I need to eat. And then there's a whole bunch of things. So it's not so restrictive, but in the first little bit. So I guide people, if they need that. And some people are amazing with food, right? They just need accountability so we start with the nutrition. We want to get people to the point where they're 90% whole foods. But we do it slowly. Like if they're heavy coffee drinkers, we start to work on reducing things, adding in little bits, and it's all very slowly. And we have to do it at the clients, we have to look at their lifestyle. Like everybody's going to be different. There's no one way of doing everything because everybody has a different lifestyle,
Yeah.
but we focus on certain things at certain times. And what we do is we start with the brain, right? Everybody talks about going straight to the gut, but our
Yeah.
brain is so important. Our emotions. I'm an emotional person. So if I'm not in a good mood today, or if my hormones are out of whack today, I
Yeah.
am not going to be productive. And I always admit it. I know myself. I'm an emotional, like, learner, doer, right? So making sure that my hormones are balanced and working on our serotonin and dopamine levels and doing the genetics, right? Shows sometimes there's a mutation that affects our neurotransmitters, which affect the brain, our moods. And it's like, poof, it was just
Yeah.
like mind blowing, explaining to clients. I had somebody the other day and we did our genetics test and she was like, so it's not me. It's me, it's my genetics, but it's not something wrong with me. And that's what she said. And I was just like, wow, right?
That's really powerful. Yeah.
It justified what was going on with her body. And she's
Yeah.
like, okay, now what do I do? I'm like, okay, so now we tweak things, right?
Yeah.
This is why you can't take this supplement, right?
Yeah.
And all this supplements on social media, like you can't go in blind. You need to know what your body needs, right? And that's where these the function lab tests come into play. So we start with a
Yeah.
foundation and then we build on that, right? Then we
Yeah.
go, it can be 3 months to work with somebody, 6 months, even up to a year. It
Yeah.
depends on the person and their health and how quickly they're able to adapt. And then we slowly go through more labs, doing the hormone tests. Then we work on then we can start going more to the gut, doing a parasite cleanse, and then at the very end, we work on heavy metals.
Yeah.
And then we give the client tools because heavy metals can take up to 2 years. I mean, coffee alone is full of cadmium. I did my hair and mineral analysis test, and I was like, my cadmium level was off the chart. And I was
Oh my
like,
God.
where do I get cadmium from? Right. And then when I
Yeah.
looked into it, it's like coffee is so full of pesticides,
And
right?
it's one thing we drink every single day. Like I just finished a cup. It's good coffee. I know it is. I only drink it, but so many people are drinking coffee every single day from not good sources, and who knows what's in there.
It's actually scary. And,
That
you know,
is
and,
actually
and,
very scary.
and it affects the stress. Again, it
Yep.
comes back to that because it
Yep.
affects the cortisol. I
Yep.
know if I try not to drink a Tim Hortons and I'm working on getting off coffee, and I know Sandy's going to be cringing listening to us talking about coffee because she wants us off of coffee, right? And it's a habit, right?
Yeah.
And it's so that's what we work on. We take, okay, if you're going to drink coffee, let's lower the dose, lower how much, but also let's get on a better brand. Let's get on maybe
For
a
sure.
mushroom coffee, an organic, right? Mold
Yes.
free,
Yeah.
because it's so full of mold, right? It's so
It
full of
is.
pesticides. And
Yeah.
then people say, I'm so stressed. I can't do this. I'm this and this. And then I'm like, well, how much coffee do you drink? Well, I drank an extra large Tim Hortons with and I was like, oh my God, if I had an extra large Tim Hortons, I would
I
convulse,
wouldn't.
right?
I would be so jittery. I wouldn't even be able to hold a pen. Like I couldn't function. Yeah. It makes a difference. The coffee you make definitely makes a difference.
It's so huge, right? And
Yeah.
getting people in the mindset. And then I talk a lot about water, and people look at me like really strange, right? Because you think water's so basic. And when I ask people, I'm like, okay, how much water do you drink? Okay. What kind? And they go, what? Like, what do you mean? What kind? What kind of water are you drinking? Tap water, Brita water? And then I'm like, okay, that's when I do it's time to have a talk, right? About
Yeah.
water. It's like your parents having that talk with you.
Yeah.
And I explain, and again, like mind blowing that people don't understand water, like bottled water. I'm like, it's brilliant marketing. That's all it is,
Yeah.
right? It's so full of plastics. Now we have clothes that are full of plastics. Now you're drinking plastic and water, and there's a huge CBC actually. They did a whole expose on bottled water. Like, it's amazing how much plastic particles. So
That is so
it's
gross.
it's scary. It's very scary. So really, through all these function lab testing, it's like we're taking all the pieces of the puzzle together and we're going step by step, and you're being supported the entire way so that you
Yeah.
leave after we work together knowing how to take care of yourself. And it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, one thing that I love about the program that we do, because we do the same lab testing for our clients, it's just the approach is different in how we work with them. But the genetics testing, it was like the nail in the coffin. I was struggling with so many issues my whole life, specifically with my gut, like so many other people. And I realized through the genetics that I was taking all of the wrong supplements. And when you go to a supplement store, you see shelves and rows and aisles full, and you're like, where do I start? What do I do? And it's like you get lost in this world of trial and error. And I think a lot of people then just give up or screw it, I'm done. And okay, it doesn't have to be like that. You just need to find the right person to find what's right for you. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but you just have to be willing to be open to it, right? Because again, so many people go to gut work first, and there's a lot of stuff living inside of us. Like there's a lot of little microbes and parasites, sometimes worms. And I remember you saying one time that they exist within us so they can decompose our bodies when we pass, but we don't want them to start decomposing our bodies while we're still living. That's not the point. And I think the way that our protocol is set up is exceptional in getting the body to be stress-free, foundationally stable, and then we start disturbing it and getting it cleared out.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yes, very well said. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful for you because I'm going to let our listeners know that you actually introduced me to Sandy, to the Integrative Healing Academy, which is open to everyone to either do the testing on your own and to learn about you through these lab tests, or to even become a practitioner. And I'm so, so thankful that you introduced me to that, because I've always wanted to be in functional medicine. I just never found the right program, to be honest, to learn from, because everything is so textbook, you know?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Sandy's this program. I looked at a couple different programs,
Yeah.
and I learned I really do use my intuition. And when I asked to speak with Sandy, she phoned me right away and we talked, and I knew instantly that she was the type of person that she was the person I wanted to learn from. And I've had no regrets, and continually supporting, even though we're practitioners, we're still like, there's a lot of things that come up because everybody's so unique and different, that we
Yes.
still have the support system. And again,
Yeah.
we've built a community of us, of the practitioners from the academy. Like, again, like
It's all
supporting
about
each other.
community. It's all about community. We are setting up our lives for some weird reason to be trapped in these condos, as I'm in one right now. But we're so isolated, and it's such a sad way to live, because humans are made to be with other humans. And the fact that we have that within our community, you have that with your mom's networking communities, like, it's so amazing to have that, to keep that balance with your neurotransmitters and your hormones as well.
It's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. I
Yeah.
mean, I like my alone time, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, me
but
too.
but in doses, right? We just
Yeah.
need that little bit. But honestly, like, I'm on such a high after I talk to people, and like
Same.
sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm kind of tired today, but I have clients. The minute the client walks in the door, my energy just
Yeah.
boosts, and I'm on a high for the rest of the day,
Yeah.
or when I pick up my daughter after school, like, it's just like this super big high, and like there's
Yeah.
nothing better than your, child running to you and giving you a hug. You're just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
it's these little moments in life that kind of keep us going. And so it's so important. We want to live our best lives. So instead of just coasting through life, which so many people are, and
Yeah.
it's really sad, that we should be living our best life. And
Yeah.
and we can, right? That's the thing. We
Absolutely.
can.
We can. We just have to find it within us to make those changes, get out of your comfort zone. And then if you need help finding the right person that will help you.
Exactly. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just need somebody to kick your butt.
Ab- for- Absolutely. Yes. In a very loving way, but tough love sometimes, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I approach it. It's a tough love in a loving way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lisa, it was such a pleasure having you on the show. I'm so happy we finally got this recording, and I'm so happy that people will get to listen in on this amazing conversation. But for all of our viewers, where can they find you, either in the real world or in the virtual world?
So in the world, I mean, you can go to my website, which is Lisa M as in mother, Schick.com. Lisa Schick was taken. I had to add my middle name. So LisaMSchick.com is my website, and you can contact me. All my different social media channels are on there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm at Chic Wellness Girl. And Facebook, I have a business page under Lisa Schick as well. So, but my website has all the links to everything. Has my email, my contact number, and I love when people just message me, right? They just reach out and we
Yeah.
have an initial talk to see, because it goes both ways. I also have to interview people to make sure that I want to work with them, because it's not just
Absolutely.
a one-time thing. You can,
Yeah.
yes, you can just come and do live blood if you want, and just start and get to know me. It's kind of like an interview process, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're happy and you want to dive deeper, then we can go into the, integrative function lab testing and go a lot deeper. And if you just want to work on food, we can just work on the metabolic balance and work on just the food part. Everybody's at a different phase, not ready for the whole thing. So we can help to customize things based on what you need.
Oh, that's amazing. I love the customization, because everyone does need something different based off of them, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It's such a pleasure. And for all of my viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you at the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Dr. Celia Corbo Show. If you want to learn how to work with me one-on-one and achieve your best quality of life through the 3 pillars of health, then click the link below to schedule your free health assessment call and receive my free masterclass all about the 3 pillars of health: the physical, chemical, and the emotional. I look forward to chatting with you very soon.